Everything is happening from all angles. We're ready to go. Hi, everybody. We'll give just a second for those of you that want to jump on live with us. We have somebody coming in on Zoom. Hello, hello. And I think we have some people watching live on Facebook. So we'll go ahead and get started. Tonight's call is focusing around the Lifelong Vitality Pack. So for those of you that aren't familiar, we're going to have Liz be a speaker tonight going over the vitamins, and I'll get more in depth in that in just a second. But the intention over the next 4 weeks is to do a mini dose school opportunity for you where we go more in depth into various topics. So we have for you, the first week, we're going to do lifelong vitality. We're also going to talk about pain and inflammation 1 week. We're going to talk about the immune system, and we're going to talk about mood. So we have different little mini dose school series opportunities for you. And then within that, it's going to be about 20 minutes of education and then about 20 minutes of an open panel where we have more discussion. We go in depth around whatever the topic is so that we can share our own personal testimonies. We can share other testimonies of individuals that we have worked with. So for tonight, we have our panel. We have Connie Ruff, who is a oil lover and wellness advocate with doTERRA. Brittany Pio, who is a massage therapist and wellness advocate with doTERRA, and Sarah King, who is a licensed clinical social worker and also a wellness advocate with doTERRA, right? Did I get that right? Thanks. Okay. And then Elizabeth Crawford, who is an integrative nutrition health coach. There we go. I was trying to do IIN and also health coach. Let me start that over. We have Liz Crawford, who is how do you say it from IIN? How did they say it? I should have practiced ahead of time, I guess.
You said it exactly right. Integrative nutrition health coach.
I stumbled through it perfectly. Great. That's wonderful.
Yeah, you did.
And also a wellness advocate with doTERRA. And so then we will go over, each of us will share in the panel this evening. But without further ado, I'm going to turn the time over to Liz to give us more insight around the lifelong vitality and different supplements from an educational standpoint. Go ahead, Liz. I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Katrina. I think this is really great that we're going to be sharing education for the whole month of October on these awesome programs that are very targeted to help support what it is that you're looking to reach goals on. So tonight we're talking about lifelong vitality supplements. And I just want to share a little bit about my background. So the Institute for Integrative Nutrition is the largest nutrition school for health coaching certification in the country and possibly the world. I can't remember, but definitely in the US. And what our big focus is bioindividuality. And that just means that everybody's body is different and that one man's diet is another man's poison, or woman, shall I say. And the other thing that we focus on is looking at primary food. So there's primary food and there's secondary food. Primary food is not what you would think. It's really the things that nourish us on all sorts of different levels. And then secondary food is nourishment, is real food. So I feel like some of the things I'm going to talk about tonight kind of fit into that primary food category. And of course, we're going to talk about actual nourishment with the lifelong vitality supplements and how to customize it so you can get really targeted support. So I'm going to share my screen. Thumbs up if you can see my screen. Yay. Thanks, guys. So my question to all of you is, are you being nourished? This slide originally started off as the standard American diet, but I really started thinking about it, and it's more than just that. It's not just food. It's all the things that we're taking in. So nourishment are the things that you're pulling into your body. And what does that look like? So on a secondary food level, on a nourishment with actual calories level, we're a lot of times in the standard American diet or in, other developed countries as well, it's very high calorie foods, highly processed foods, and foods with a lot of sugar in it. That's oftentimes hidden. And the list could go on and on and on. There's food dyes, there's chemicals, there's things that we don't realize are there that aren't really serving our body. Then the question is, the healthy foods that we are eating, are they as nutritious as we think they are? And that is all about soil depletion. So when we shop at the grocery store and we get our produce, shopping the perimeter of the store, which I always tell people, but let's look at the produce section. So when we bring home our food and we consume it, it's not the same as it once was. So our grandparents, our great-grandparents, when they grew food in their backyard or went to the corner market, they were getting foods that had much more nutritional content. Recent studies show that an apple and an orange produced now is so deficient in key vitamins that you would actually have to eat 21 apples and 100 oranges to get the equivalent of the nutritional value that a fruit had in the 50s. So that's kind of mind-blowing to think about. Like, we're going to the grocery store, we're loading up on veggies, a lot of us, because we're very health conscious here in this community. But you have to wonder, are you getting the nutritional value, and are there gaps? And then we're also, we're exposed to toxins on a regular basis. A lot of it we have control over within our homes, looking at different products that we're bringing into our home for cleaning, our skincare products, all that stuff. But when we step outside of our front door and there's pollution, and maybe you're working in an environment where you don't have control over that sort of thing. And then there's also our food system, which has things like microplastics in it, which come from like also sorts of different industries. The water that runs off from those factories, it gets into our drinking water and we consume it. It gets into our food and we consume it. So we're exposed there. We are living high stress and anxiety, more so now than ever. I don't need to get into that, and we'll talk more about that on another night. Physical activity, we're not always getting as much physical activity as we really should be or could be, and sleep can be a real issue. So what happens? What are the side effects of that? We're really starving ourselves in so many ways, and the side effects look like sluggish organ function, which you might feel in brain fog or general fatigue, unsatisfied appetite. We're not getting the nutrients that we really need in processed foods and in our currently produced fruits and vegetables. So we may be consuming more calories, which is actually true. As a society, we're consuming more and more calories than we ever have, and we're getting less and less nutrients than we ever have. And that causes things like overeating, constantly having cravings, and it will lead to a lack of energy, brain fog, inflammation, and even more difficulty sleeping. And these are just kind of like the basic things. When these get amplified, it winds up being a visit to the doctor. And we wind up having symptoms that get diagnosed, and then perhaps medication, and so on and so on. So looking at all that stuff really goes into what's nourishing us. But we're talking about supplements today. So supplements are key, and oftentimes people are asking, do I really need to take supplements? And the answer is yes. After seeing that slide, I think you would agree with me, and learning more about it. So what do we need? What are we looking for in a good supplement? You can get supplements at the grocery store, at the drugstore, Target, Walmart. Don't buy them there, but they do exist almost everywhere. So you're probably wondering to yourself, what's in a good supplement? So you want to look for certain things. You want to learn about the delivery method. Is that supplement able to make it through the digestive system so that it functions where it needs to be? Is it bioavailable? Does it have a glycoprotein matrix so that it is metabolized easier? Is it chelated, which is just a word that means are they bound together in a way that makes them more bioavailable? Are they metabolized easily by your body? Are they whole food ingredients? Can you pronounce the ingredients on the bottle? Are you being overdosed or underdosed? You also want to be able to pay attention to how your body feels. That's that bioindividuality thing where you want to listen to your body and have goals and know what you're looking for so that you can really see how far you've come and what the difference is. And I would also urge you to listen to somebody who you trust. Look for reviews, have conversations with as many people as possible so that you're getting educated on what's going to work best for you and you're making an educated decision. So the lifelong vitality supplements, it's a set of 3. They are meant to be taken together. I like to talk about the Microplex VMZ first. That is your basic vitamins and minerals, 22 essential vitamins. And essential means essential to life. So essential to life, and then also that your body can't produce it on its own. So you're not able to make these things, and it's imperative that we have them so that we can function properly. So you have to get them from outside of your body, either in the foods that you're eating, but if they're not available there, then it's very important to supplement. So you have your vitamins A, C, and E. I remember when I went back to nutrition school, my favorite nutrition teacher always said, you want to look for A, C, E, and S, ACEs, for cancer prevention, A, C, and E, and then the S is selenium, which is also included in the Microplex BMZ. Your D vitamins are going to help with heart health. They're going to help you metabolize your calcium. They're great for brain fog. Then you have your B vitamins, which are for energy, but not only energy. It's a complex. So if you're looking at the supplements, it's not going to say B vitamin complex, but everything from thiamine to pantothenic acid, those are all your B vitamins. And they really do help support healthy hair growth, healthy nails. They help with addiction, with fighting addiction. And they are your energy complex because that is the vitamin that helps you to make red blood cells. So that increases oxygen to your muscles and helps to increase energy. So lots of really great things in BMZ, all whole food based. So when you take these supplements, you're not going to feel nauseous. Oftentimes people do purchase vitamins at the drugstore or the grocery store. And because they're not whole food based, so they're made in a lab, they're chemical based, your body's kind of like confused and doesn't know what to do with it. So you get a little bit nauseous. And I hear that from people often. But when you take the Lifelong Vitality Microplex BMZ, it's food. It comes from, oh, and I should have wrote this down, all the ingredients that are in it, but you can understand and recognize all the ingredients that are in there. It's kale, it's broccoli, it's Brussels sprouts, it's spinach, it's I think broccoli and seaweed. Those are like amazing things, and I could make a great salad out of them, but I don't do that very often. And this is just a really awesome way to supplement. So also pointing out here that the supplement is made in a way so that it's bioavailable. So you have your glycoprotein matrix, you have enzymes, you have chelated minerals, and that all goes towards your body being able to use that more readily. So also another important thing to point out is that oftentimes supplements purchased at other places, they are not very absorbable, and they wind up just kind of getting passed through your system sometimes. And this was in the news not that long ago, a couple years ago, where I think it was Walmart and Target, they had supplements on their shelves that were their brand that had sawdust in them. It's really just a filler, and it allows for the manufacturer to make more money because there's more volume. And it's not really doing your body any justice. You might be saving a buck or two, but it's not doing much for you. So what else did I want to talk about there? I'm watching the time, going way too long already. And I'll shift over to the XE Omega. So the Omegas are going to be really helpful for brain fog, joint issues, awesome for heart health, really great for your brain. Your brain is made up of 80 to 90% fat. So you really need those healthy fats so that you can think clearly. Also helps to reduce your cholesterol. Healthy fats are important for your body. And the thing to know about omegas is that we're really supposed to get omega-3s and omega-6s in a 1-to-1 ratio. And the standard American diet, you're getting it in a 1 to 20 to 50. So that means ratio of 1 omega-3 to 20 to 50 omega-6s. Omega-6s are in highly processed foods, hydrogenated oils, breads, baked goods, deep fried foods, and it's totally off the charts how much is in the standard American diet. You want to bring that ratio closer together by lowering the amount of omega-6s you're consuming and increasing the omega-3s. Omega-3s come from fatty fish, leafy green vegetables, nuts, and seeds. And it's awesome to get them from a dietary source, but it's also important to supplement because they're essential to our health. So the XE Omegas come from both land and sea, and there's 9 essential oils in the XE Omega. Couple things about that. Clove, super, super potent antioxidant. If you check out the ORAC score or ORAC scale, it shoots off the top of the scale. It's one of the strongest antioxidants in the world, and because it's an essential oil in this product, it's even more potent than the herb on the ORAC scale. So you can imagine it's just very, very, very strong. And that means that it keeps things from oxidizing. So in the supplement, it keeps the omega ingredients from oxidizing, which means they won't go rancid and have that nasty fishy smell. But it also means that you're getting super strong antioxidants in your system. Antioxidants help with energy. They help with fighting free radicals, and they help with cellular health in general. So omegas, very, very important, super helpful for brain fog and brain health. And then we have alpha CRS. Alpha CRS is, for the most part, I love it for its ability to give you natural, clean energy. And it does that by supporting the mitochondria of the cell. If you go back to I think it was 8th grade biology, or I don't know, maybe it was later in high school, but the mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. They make energy. So the alpha CRS helps in a way where it makes that more efficient. So if you think of our cells like vehicles, like a car, when a car is brand new, the muffler, it is quiet. It doesn't rattle around. It doesn't shoot out black smoke. But the older that vehicle gets, the more rickety it gets, the more difficult it gets to produce energy to go and put out clean exhaust. So cells are the same way. The older we get, the more jankety that assembly line gets for the mitochondria, and the energy that those cells are producing, because that's where we get our energy. We get it from each individual cell produces our energy. The older we get, the harder it gets, and it starts putting out exhaust. And it goes from being quiet and clean to taking up a lot of energy just to make that energy, and it's shooting out a lot of exhaust. So alpha CRS cleans up that process so that you're not making energy more difficult for you, or making energy isn't producing, more, it actually creates more free radicals is what I'm trying to say. So this helps to combat that. Alpha CRS has a lot of really great things in it that you're going to know and recognize. Green tea, pomegranate, pineapple. So the pineapple actually has this awesome enzyme in it that helps to repair cell tissue. So there's a lot of awesome ingredients in here. Also turmeric, also frankincense. So it's going to be super anti-inflammatory. And I didn't mention this for the Microplex VMZ, but Microplex VMZ and Alpha CRS also have the Tummy Tamer blend in them, which is peppermint, ginger, and caraway. So another reason why when you take these supplements, you don't get like that nauseous feeling, or like that awful feeling that like you've got to eat something to keep it down. So I don't know if I covered everything, but I also don't want to suck up all the time. I do want to talk about this slide really, really quickly. So the Lifelong Vitality Pack is really, the smartest way to buy it is to buy it in your loyalty rewards program. You get it at a discount, so $79.50, and that includes all 3 of the Lifelong Vitality supplements. You can also get a vegan version, which shifts the omega supplement so that it only has plant omegas in it. So if you're conscious about eating vegan, then you want to select that one. And then there's also a really great option called the Lifelong Vitality Pack Sachets, and it's basically your morning and evening supplements are portioned out so that you can just take your little packet with you, throw it in your purse, or if you're traveling, take as many as you need for however many days you're going to be away, and it makes life really, really simple. Also, it's less waste, packaging waste. So if you're concerned about sustainability, really, really cool option. So that is not it with the Lifelong Vitality when you buy it with in your loyalty rewards program. So you get this added bonus of being able to tag on additional supplements for targeted support at an incredible discount. So I'll just go from the top to the bottom. So for digestive support, you have the option of the PB Assist Plus and Terrazyme. So one of the most important things that you can do for yourself, for your immune system and for your mental health is to have a healthy gut. Our serotonin is produced there, our immune system is produced there, and it's the first place you want to go when looking at a foundation for health after you start taking your Lifelong Vitality supplements. So PB Assist Plus is both a probiotic and a prebiotic. And it looks really cool. I wish I had a picture or had them in here with me, but it's a capsule within a capsule. And you've got your probiotic, which is healthy bacteria that you want to flourish in your lower GI. And it's partnered with prebiotic, which is basically the probiotics food. And if you were looking at that from a dietary standpoint, what the prebiotic would be, it's cruciferous vegetables, so like cabbage and broccoli, but it's neatly packaged in this little supplement so that when you take it, it withstands the acid in your stomach and it gets down into your lower GI. Oftentimes with probiotics, they digest in your tummy, and you don't need probiotics there, and they don't really survive that environment because it's too acidic. So this gets to where it needs to be, and then it has the prebiotics so it can proliferate and just take over that area. Then Terrazyme is also for dietary support, and it has all your enzymes. So enzymes help you to break down different types of food. So you have an enzyme for protein, for dairy, for carbohydrates, for lipids, and there's even an anti-gluten enzyme in the Terrazyme. So if you're somebody who doesn't tolerate gluten very well and you get glutened, then you can take some Terrazyme and it helps to flush it out of your system and digest it better so it doesn't create any of those discomfort or symptoms that you will get with that. I have to say one more thing about Terrazyme though. When you take it with food, yes, it helps you to digest food, but when you take it on an empty stomach, it helps you to repair tissue, to flush unhealthy cells out of your system. It helps to eat up scar tissue. So you can use it in a different way when you take it on an empty stomach. And there's some really interesting things about metabolic enzymes and dietary enzymes and why Terrazyme works in that way. But I don't want to eat up all the time with that, so I will share that at another time. You can also purchase as add-ons more Microplex VMZ and XE Omega if you want to stock up on those. You can also go towards more of an inflammation support area if that's your concern, and this is going to be for any discomforts. So joint pain, back pain, post-surgery, wanting to repair tissue. The deep blue polyphenols have boswellia in it, which comes directly from frankincense, and then curcumin, which comes from turmeric. Both are known, widely known and widely studied as very, very strong anti-inflammatories. So you can actually use this before a workout. If you know you're going to be sore afterwards, you can use it afterwards, kind of like an ibuprofen. And it's a really awesome way to get support without it being addicting, without it hurting your stomach, without any side effects, just side benefits. And then we have Mito2 Max, and this is a supplement that works in a lot of ways similar to Alpha CRS, where it helps with mitochondrial health, but also because it helps mitochondrial health, it helps with producing energy. And I used to think of this supplement as like it was just for people who are running marathons or people who are, leaving it all on the floor at the gym. That's not me. So I didn't think this supplement was for me. But we do need energy. How many times are you running through your entire day and you're kind of hitting a wall at like 3 or 4 o'clock and you still have 100 things that you wanted to do? That is also the type of energy that this can help you with. Helping you get through your workday and picking up and dropping off the kids and making dinner and doing laundry and whatever it is that you have to do. That is also the kind of energy that this can help you with. So I learned that recently, and I really, really like this supplement. Also, something I learned about this is that if you are suffering from adrenal fatigue and you take it during the day, it's not going to make you have energy. It might make you sleepy because it's an adaptogenic supplement. And it's going to give your body what it needs. So if you find that to be the case, then you can actually shift and take the Mito2 Max at night, and it'll help you to sleep better, and it'll help heal your adrenals. So that is really what it's indicating. If you take it during the day and it makes you sleepy, it means that you have adrenal fatigue. And it can really help to support and bring that back to balance. And when you're taking it at night and sleeping well, you might find a shift where you're taking it at night and it keeps you up. That's when you know you have to shift and start taking it during the day to help with energy throughout the day. So that's some really cool stuff about Mito2 Max that I found very, very interesting, and actually felt that shift in my own body. So all those supplements so far are $20 each, and you can see what the wholesale price is, what the savings is. Deep blue polyphenol is the biggest savings at $59.50 wholesale, and you can get it for $20. And you can choose up to 3 of these, including the child nutrition support supplements, which is the A to Z. So that's going to be like very similar to the adult Microplex VMZ. But just in a child dose, and it's in a chewable, and I think it's watermelon, and they're yummy. I've had them. If you are an adult who doesn't like to take supplements and you prefer to chew, you can do the A to Z. You would just double up on those. So you'd take a look at the recommendation for children, which I think is 1 to 2 in the morning and 1 to 2 in the evening, and you would double that. That's a lot of chewables. That's not for me, but it might be for someone. And then the IQ Megas, that is actually a supplement that is formulated for both children and adults. So if you are an adult, you wouldn't have to double that up. You can just take the recommendation, which I believe is a teaspoon, and they have like they're flavored with wild orange, which has an awesome antioxidant property. So again, like the wild orange helps to keep it from going rancid and also supports all sorts of health in your body. So that is something that you can add on. So like if you wanted to do the lifelong vitality for yourself and then get your children on board with a good, clean supplement, you know, a lot of children's vitamins have food coloring in them, you know, red dye number, whatever, and that can actually cause hyperactivity. So if that is something that you maybe need to see a shift with, this could be a really good place to make a change. So that is all I have. I went too long. I'm sorry.
You did awesome. That was very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
So for our panel, before we dive into that, there was a question. Could you possibly repeat the statistic that you shared about apples and oranges? So the one apple is the equivalent to.
So I think I can't remember if I said it exactly right, but I think I switched the numbers. So 100 apples today and 21 oranges today is the equivalent nutritionally of one of each from the 50s. Grown and produced in the 50s.
Perfect. Thank you. That was one question that we had. And then let's just jump around. So who on the panel would like to share your lifelong vitality? Let's start with lifelong vitality testimonies.
I'll go.
Okay.
Just like Liz said, there's so many benefits to adding lifelong vitality to your daily routine. However, one of the main reasons that I did was I started with doTERRA in April of 2017. And in June, I was diagnosed with Lyme's disease. I was super sick. I really thought I had meningitis. I didn't know I had Lyme's disease. Did my course of doxy and decided that I didn't want to be one of those people that was going to take antibiotics every 6 months to manage my Lyme's if it wasn't going to go away. So I did some research, and I'm just going to go through what I did real quick. I came across a Dr. Bill Rawls. He had been suffering for like 5 years. And, you know, some people will say he made up the story, but everything I've read seems pretty legit. And he did some research, and he referenced this Stephen Berner that wrote Healing Lyme's. And so I started, you know, reading through it. It's a lot of chemistry, whatever. But the core protocols for his Lyme's has the lifelong vitality has a lot of the core supplements in them. So I'm like, really? And I wasn't taking lifelong vitality yet. So it was probably 2 months after I was diagnosed with Lyme's that I started taking the lifelong vitality. And I really saw a difference within 30 days and how I felt. Now, whether or not I can't be one of those people that says, yes, that really affected my Lyme's, but I truly believe it's helped me manage it. I go to a nutrition response tester. She is telling me right now that I don't have Lyme showing up at all anymore. So if that's true, that's wonderful. But I do manage it with the lifelong vitality, and I do every 3 to 4 months. I do three to drops of frankincense and oregano in a veggie cap for 10 days, and I'll do that, like I said, every 3 to 4 months. Then I'll do a cleanse. I did come across another person who had nothing to do with doTERRA that had gotten Lyme's disease, and one of the biggest things he stressed was doing the GX cleanse periodically throughout the year. I don't do it every time I take the frankincense and oregano, but I do the PB assist following right after I do that. That obviously the PB assist and the Terrazyme are great for the digestive, and the deep blue certainly was helpful for inflammatory. And I cannot say enough about Mito2 Max. I mean, the energy and stamina is just amazing. So LLV should be in your daily supplements if you're not already taking them. They're super great for so many reasons.
Love it. Thank you for sharing, Connie. Who else wants to share your testimony with lifelong vitality?
I'll go.
Right.
So I started using doTERRA essential oils back in 2018 in February, and it took me until about June of the following year to start taking the vitamins. And all along that, I was starting to get more natural when it came to just the products that I was using and making my own cleaners and things like that. And then also in that time period, I got off of birth control, but I had been on it for over 10 years. So when I got off of it, my whole body started being wonky. My emotions were kind of all over the place. And I was just like really getting back in touch with myself. And now knowing what I know, birth control does sever that connection between your brain and your ovaries. And there's a lot of other stuff that goes on due to that, and a lot of like symptoms and side effects. So that to me was the first time in my life after being off of it that I experienced really bad periods, cramping, menstrual symptoms in that sense. And I had earlier on in life, and that was one of the things that propagated me to get on the pill. So the first month that I took them, I got really nervous because I didn't think it was coming. And I thought, oh no, I'm going to be like pregnant or something. And that was not the goal I was going for. But it was just because I didn't have any cramps. I didn't have any symptoms of like that PMS stuff that I would get every month that I was used to. So for me, that was my biggest testimony, and still is to this date, that I no longer experience that. And can I fully say that it's just the vitamins? Like, I have made other lifestyle choices too that have coincided with it, that have made me healthier, and I feel like less deficient in some areas. But that was one of the biggest things that I noticed. And also my skin cleared up tremendously. And then I stopped taking them for a while. Like we all do, we fall off the bandwagon. And that's when I realized, wow, that was also helping with my anxiety and my brain fog that I didn't even realize that I had until I went off of them for about a month after being on them. And I realized how much that stuff had gotten under control too. So it's been really cool. I couldn't imagine now without them in my toolbox, because I know the energy that I get from them and just that reliability that I have, that I'm going to feel my best when I'm taking them, and I'll have that clarity too. So I'm really fortunate to it. And I don't think it's just the vitamins, like it's all those other pieces too. But that's definitely one of the biggest contributions to my overall health.
Absolutely. And Brittany, I think it goes to that discussion of it's just creating the foundation, and then you can scaffold all of this other stuff. But that is really, I think, for every single person on Lifelong Vitality, it's the foundation that gets to the next level. So I love that. Thank you, Brittany. Sarah, you want to share yours?
Sure. Sorry, sure. So actually it's interesting, Brittany, because my timeline is very similar to yours, where I started working and using doTERRA in 2018, and it took me a while to get the vitamins on board. So I have a 17-month-old and a 3-year-old, and I was taking multivitamins that were recommended by my OB at the time. And when I really dove into Lifelong Vitality was after I had my daughter last year. And I was struggling. My son, I hadn't struggled with any hormone shifts. Like it was just like that dream pregnancy. And I got out of my pregnancy with her, and I had postpartum. I was having a lot of difficulty with emotional stability, with hormone stability. And I was really struggling. And so I started taking Lifelong Vitality, and the almost immediate, like within like 2 or 3 weeks, I could start to feel, I was feeling more even emotionally. I was feeling more grounded. I knew my hormones were starting to even out a little bit more, and they were safe to take while I was breastfeeding. So it was really helpful. I'll tack on to that too, that Terrazyme, I also introduced at that point. My daughter was having difficulty with digestion, with spitting up a bit. And I started taking Terrazyme myself. And as I was breastfeeding her, she actually stopped spitting up. She stopped having issues with digestion. And even when I stopped breastfeeding her, we still sprinkle in, we open a capsule and we still sprinkle that into a drink for her every single day, because when I stopped breastfeeding and she stopped getting it, she started having like reflux issues and like bloated belly. And so I want to add that because when Liz, when you were talking about how we get these responses from other vitamins that we've taken in our life, that's absolutely what's happened for me. And that nauseousness and that just like that, I actually felt more bogged down by it. I felt like I was just kind of flushing it all out because it wasn't absorbing properly. The Terrazyme and these vitamins are sensitive enough that my newborn baby it was safe for her, and she responded well to it. And I'm that's what felt right with me, and that's what worked well for her. So I obviously kept the Terrazyme on board, and then started taking the PB Assist, which really, it was just a game changer. I think the other big thing is last year I had a job that was pretty chronically stressful, that I was working a lot, and I came off that and recognized that I had adrenal fatigue, and I started taking Max, and exactly what you described, Liz, is exactly what was happening. I actually stopped taking it because I thought, oh gosh, I'm so tired because I have 2 kids and I need to take this Max, and I was feeling so tired during the day. I was feeling so run down, and I stopped taking it because I thought, this is not helping, this is bogging me down, and recognized that was adrenal fatigue. And so many of us have this consistent anxiety or stress or difficulty that we're managing every single day, and that does a number on our adrenals, and that impacts our sleep, and that impacts our mood, and that impacts our ability to feel driven and motivated. And so Max for me wasn't just about boosting energy, it was also about healing that part of my body that would make me, I started feeling excited again. I started feeling motivated again. I kind of felt like my gas tank was filled. The adrenals control the production of melatonin, and that natural melatonin that helps you sleep. And in healing that, I sleep more soundly now, and I sleep better because of it. And so like you said, the foundation for health. And then as I started to add on some of these other supplements and put them into the mix, I just found that it's a game changer. And really has had my husband will comment when he knows that I've missed my vitamins for a day or two. And he's like, how you doing? Because he notices that I'm just not as energetic, or I'm just not as grounded, or I'm just not acting like myself. So it's outwardly noticeable to the people in my life as well.
I have to crack up because my husband and I also call each other out when we don't take our vitamins. Although we have jokes, and I won't share this publicly to the graphic detail of our jokes, but we also make comments of how the vitamins impact our digestive system. So we have little phrases that bounce around in our house from how the vitamins work, but they're just, it's a game changer. I remember in the very beginning, I was hesitant about investing in myself to the degree that the vitamins allow. And I remember like going back and forth with it. And something that always stands out to me is a person said, you're going to take a handful of pills one way or the other. You get to choose. Do you want it to be proactive or reactive? And that has always stuck out for me. Like, I will gladly take extra Terrazyme, teach the same thing, the babies, like put Terrazyme in the babies, because it's doing things at a cellular level to be proactive rather than waiting until there's a reaction to make. And that's just like one of the things that for me has stood out. To briefly share my testimony, I was similarly to Britt, was experiencing some hormonal things. And when I was seeking out any form of a medical professional willing to listen, it was, oh, go on this antibiotic, go on this birth control. I was prescribed, I believe, 7 different birth controls over the course of a year. I was throwing up. I was like, whatever it was making me, regardless, I just wasn't doing well. Long story short, I was introduced to essential oils, and for the first time, Wendy was the one teaching the class. If any of you have had the chance to meet her that are watching on Facebook. And she was the first person to shift my eyes into looking at, there's something going on your body. This is your body saying something. Like, is it hormonal? Is it digestive? So come to find out, I had what they believed was endometriosis and polycystic ovary syndrome. So both of those things going on. I started shifting in taking the Lifelong Vitality, stopped taking the supplements that I was on at the time. And other things that I had been experiencing, I was having to leave work early on days that I was in my menstrual cycle because the cramping was so bad. It was painful. There was no painkillers that would touch it, of like, ibuprofen, Advil. And I had terrible digestive issues. And I started noticing a difference the first week. And for some people, it's not that quick, but it was like 1 week in, oh my goodness, 2 weeks in. I got to the point where I can remember at the time I was a speech pathologist, and I was driving to work and I had forgotten to take them that morning. And I was already like 15 minutes towards work. And I stopped the car and turned around because I was like, these puppies are worth doing a loop backwards for. It just was a huge shift. And now fast forward 6 years later, I've used them throughout 2 pregnancies. It's been wonderful. I can't say enough from that angle. And then the PB Assist, very diligently taking that during both pregnancies. The other thing for me was the Mito 2 Max. So when I was 21, I had 3/4 of my thyroid removed. And so a lot of issues with adrenals and thyroid things have come up. But for me, Lifelong Vitality and Mito 2 Max keeps things at a even keel without having to use synthetic alternatives for my thyroid, which that's a huge support for my body. So I am extremely grateful for that. I take that daily, Mito 2 Max, I take Terrazyme, I take PB Assist. I swear by it. That is one thing, like if I was stranded on an island and I got to pick one thing, it would be the vitamins, and I'd put them into one bag so it looks like just one thing. All the vitamins, but that they've been a game changer for me too. Cool. If anyone on Facebook wants to share your supplement testimonies, we would love to hear them. And then otherwise, does anybody else think of anything else that you want to jump on? Go ahead, Connie.
I wanted to say one more thing about your handful of pills, one way or the other.
Yeah.
And I'm going to knock on wood first, and I'm not afraid to say this, but I'm 61 years old. I'm not on any prescription medication. We are very health conscious, and we have a healthy diet, we think. I mean, it's not 100%. And I take the vitamins, and there's something said to really being diligent to taking care of yourself and watching what you eat and the supplements you take. There really is.
Yeah. And that's so foreign. I feel like each time, like when I was going for my OB appointments, they'd be like, well, what are you on? And it was like that. And I mean, I'm 30, so I can't imagine how.
We get that all the time, Dennis and I both. Yeah. You're not on anything. I mean, I had to go in for my colonoscopy, my routine, and Dennis said the nurse asked him 4 times, what is she taking? And he kept saying, she doesn't take anything.
That's crazy. Wow. Liz, did you share your testimony with vitamins? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just, as Connie was speaking, I just happened to notice that.
No, I got so excited to share all the information. So in the beginning, it wasn't something that I started using right away. There was a buffer period where I kind of had to like get on board with it. And when I did, I didn't think I noticed a change. So I came off of it. And then I realized how much I had changed. I had a new normal that I didn't recognize until I stopped taking them. And I realized that, my sleep was better. My anxiety was better. My digestion was better. But sometimes when you gradually change, like you don't recognize like the marker of where you started. So, and we go through times when we don't take them for a day or two, or we travel and we forget them, and you can feel it. You can feel it pretty quickly. And I always have to look back and go, oh, well, I haven't been taking my supplements. But some of the changes that I've noticed over the years is the condition of my skin has changed. For probably like 15 or 20 years, would get patches of dry skin on my arms, and that is non-existent now. Energy wise, for so like midday, I used to get a craving and a slump, and I no longer get those because you're just being nourished on a whole different level. But just, you know, general vitality. And I think that a lot of us are walking through this life without it, and it stinks. Like we're meant to be healthy and you know, take care of our bodies, and this is what I've found to be what makes the most sense for me.
Yeah. Love it. Cool. And another thing that just stuck out of that is these are customized to be around the holes in our diet. So kind of like with what Liz was saying, and bio individuality, this is created in a way that makes sense for the average diet. So wonderful. This was great. Thank you, everyone, for jumping on. Thank you for everyone on Facebook. This was just a great way to talk more about the supplements. One last question that I do know that we have is, so some people are doing the cleanse and are curious what supplements they would continue. So let's just talk about that real quick. As the cleanse is complete, after that, the supplements from there that you would continue with are the Lifelong Vitality, same time, same channel next week, the Lifelong Vitality, the Terrazyme, and the PB Assist. So those are the main things that while you're taking the cleanse that you would continue. You'll have Zendocrine and GX Assist left over, and then if you choose, you can cycle through intermittent, just detoxing with that. What were you going to say, Liz? Did you have some? Oh, you were looking like you were going to say something. So to continue, at our house, we take Zendocrine just intermittently to help support detox organs. GX Assist, we keep on hand. That's what we use when we're not feeling well. Like if we feel like we're coming down with something, we immediately take GX Assist or the On Guard Plus. So you can keep those in your little stash to have on hand. But for those of you doing the cleanse, be sure to continue the Lifelong Vitality, the Terrazyme, and the PB Assist post-cleanse. All right, we will jump on next week, and I believe next week we're talking about the immune system. So that will be 8 o'clock on the 14th. Wonderful. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.